Hello again everyone, and thanks ever so much for joining me again for Solo Board Gaming presents Ici c'est la France, a game designed by Kanger from Legion Wargames, and it's the second edition of the game that simulates the Algerian War of Independence from 1954 to 1962. Now, there are three main elements to this game. There's the political elements, there's the coin elements, and there's the war game element, the military counters that actually move across the map. So join me as I experiment with this game, trying to learn the game and discover how those three elements work together. While I set up the game, why not watch this? And so, here we are then, ta-da! All set up for a full campaign game of Ici c'est la France, the Algerian War of Independence. And I'm really excited because the setup went far better than I thought it would. And I must say, I read the rule book and I read some of the rules a couple of times and I still didn't get an understanding of the game. I knew what it was going to be about. I could see that there were various, and some of them quite complex, mechanics involved. I could see the three different elements. You know, I could see the politics. I could see the counterinsurgency and the insurgency. And I could see the war game element of it. I couldn't see how that would actually work out in the game, how they would work together. And I wasn't getting a good feeling. But just before we have a closer look, let me tell you this. As I was setting things up, putting the counters and the markers on the tracks where they're supposed to go, even as I was placing those counters out, the whole thing started to come together and make sense. I think I'm beginning to get this. However, the setup did take some time. It's taken me a good 45 minutes. Now, considering that the full campaign game it's suggested around 6 to 8 hours long, then your 45 minutes is okay. If you've got somewhere to set this up and you can leave it, it'll be a great weekend game, for instance. Anyhow, without further ado, let's have a look around the map to see where those counters and markers have ended up. Now, I'm going to pan around the map a little bit so we can take a closer look. Bear with me, I'm not very good at this at all. Okay, we've got a marker there at the top which says FLN Ops. So that's on the 0 of the Ops points track for the FLN. Then we have the two scales here, Pied Noir Feelings and Government Crisis. The Pied Noir, remember, are the European, mainly French, but some Spanish, settlers in Algeria. So that's at the top of the scale on mild acceptance. And the Government Crisis scale is at the top of the scale on Fourth Republic. And that's a moving scale. Okay. One of which goes down to Government Crisis, as you can see there, and the Government one goes down to Collapse. Then, let's have a look. There's our game turn track. We're doing the full campaign. So the year marker is on 1955 and the season is on winter. Then, the troop density track. The troop density at the moment is 0. That will change as we go through the years. And France has to deploy more garrison troops around Algeria. Next, let's go up here. Okay, this is the support level track to show where our support is. Now, FLN support is 4. The lower that number for the FLN, the better for the FLN, because they get more ops points. The higher it is, the worse it is for the FLN, because they get less ops points. And if we look all the way to the end, we have French public support at its highest there on number 20. If it reaches 0, we have a problem. There are no active political chits just yet. And if we come across and look in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the FLN political cell chart. And there they are. Those are the 7 FLN political leaders, the urban guerrillas, in their relevant spots. I've set it up as per recommendation historically with Youssef Saadi at the top there, and followed by Ben Mahidi and El Lapointe. And finally, French ops points are at 0 also. Now, let's have a look at the dispositions. One thing that really excited me is already we have some FLN fighters, for instance, in Area 3A, near the city of Tizi Ouzou, or the town of Tizi Ouzou, on the coast there. And it's on the question mark side. So I don't know, and simply because I can't remember, I chose them and placed them, yes, but that was a good hour ago. So the word Falaja on the back, on the question mark side, just means fighter or warrior. And there's more. Over here, in Area 1C, there are 2 more FLN fighting units. And again, I'm not sure what they are, but look, Area 1C is the single area that starts on the map under FLN control here in the mountains. Wowza. So now let's look at the French units on the ground. Here in the city, the major city of Oran, we have a unit of French Zouaves. The Zouaves were made up mainly of the Pied Noir, the settlers. And as we move over here, in the city of Bilda, there's a regiment of Chasseurs d'Afrique and more Zouave units here of Pied Noir in Algiers. As we move across, we have Chasseurs d'Afrique again in Batna, stationed right on the border, look, of that FLN controlled area. We have Zouave unit in Philippeville, and we have a French para unit, high quality unit there, stationed near the eastern border. And right down here in the south, and it's on the border of the Sahara, as you'd expect, there it is. That is the French Foreign Legion Saharan Motorized Company. Wow, high quality unit there too. So those are the dispositions of the opposing forces at the start of the game, with one area already under FLN control. And we even have the population track set up. Now remember, these are for the different wilayas, areas on the map. Now there are 6 wilayas plus the 3 major cities, which are areas unto themselves. Each of the wilayas, which have white line dividers one from another, is further divided, remember, into different regions within each wilaya, within each area. which is why you see here 2A, 2C, 2B will be beneath that, and so on. And the political leaning of each area goes from blue, pro-France, merges through to green, pro-FLN. We're already starting with some problems because area 1C here, as we've seen on the main map, is already pro-FLN and FLN controlled. See, it's into the green there. Down here, area 3A on the coast, that's also pro-FLN. It's not yet under FLN control, but it's pro-FLN. Every other area on the map shown by these markers is just about still in control of France. But all of them are in a state of purge, even the major cities here. And throughout the game, it's going to be a very fluid situation as sympathies sway backwards and forwards between pro-France and pro-FLN in each area. And that's going to depend on lots of things. It's going to depend on political allegiances, yes, political events from those event chits, and so on. And if there's enough pro-FLN areas, when it comes to a referendum, that's one of the things that can end the game. That took a little while to set up, but it was doing that started to give me a full understanding of how this game is going to work and how the various elements are going to interact with one another. Now, the last thing we need to do to set up this campaign game is to choose and draw political chits for each side. Now, don't forget we're playing this solo, so we're not going to use anything hidden, and there's no need to do so anyway because it doesn't really affect the game. Now, first of all, each side chooses out of 28 chits each, chooses 4 political chits. Here is 4 that I've chosen for the FLN and 4 here that I've chosen for France. The next thing we do is now draw at random. We don't know what we're drawing. 5 other chits each. So, out of the draw cup. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'll place them down like so. Bomb attacks. Negotiate. Suffering of the resettled. FLN riots. And Tunisia and Morocco. And for the French side, I've already chosen Ici c'est la France, the capture of Ben Bella, France will stay, and reinforce. Honestly, I don't know what I'm doing. I really don't know what these chits are going to do. How many are in our favour, because we're playing both sides to the best of our abilities, and how many are not really going to help us. But there's the 4 chosen. Now draw 5 at random. The same as we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The same as we did for the FLN. And we have the Charles plan, economic development, the hunt arms dealers, breaking the strike, and all of these have got dates, years on them, and Deuxième Bureau. Wow, okay. And very finally then, for the political chits, I'm going to draw 2 more at random out of the draw cup. I'm going to look at the years. That one's 57 to 59. That one's 57 to 59, so I'm going to put one of them back. Squidge, squidge, squidge. We want different years, you see. Draw another one. Oh, here we go. That one's reforms, 55 to 57. So that's going to go on the year 57, face down. This one's going to go on the year 59, face down. And we're just going to do the same for Algeria. You would do this if you were playing 2-player for your opponent. So your opponent doesn't know what it is you're drawing. And we have 2 here at random for the FLN. West Africa, 60 to 62. Population suffers, 55 to 57. So that one's going on 57. Face down. And this one is going on 62, face down. Okay. So when you come to play a political event and you get to those years, first of all, we have to check whether we're going to play those events or the one you actually want to play. Ha ha! So, by golly gosh, that's it. We're just about ready to play our full campaign of Ici, c'est la France. So I'll be learning the game as I go, and I think the next video will be a bit of after action report plus a couple of turns being played. Yeah, that's how we'll do it, I think. And I'm actually beginning to understand it before I've made my first move. And it's going to be exciting. Please join me next time if you can. And meanwhile, if the video has been at all interesting, please like and please subscribe if you haven't done so already. I really appreciate it. Thanks very much. See you again soon. Bye-bye.